Oh my God, Jof, hit that button. Get that camera rolling. I've got to make a quick video. It is just approximately 7:20 on Friday night. It is the 13th today of June. And I've just been having my kind of haircut, and I was like literally sat in the chair, and I go into kind of this semi sedated state when I'm having my haircut. I think it's just the scalp massagey kind of thing, and the sort of like noise of the buzzer going on the trimmer thing. Caroline used to be a hairdresser. She just like literally does it occasionally. I'm like, I need a haircut. I haven't had time to go to the barber shop. I need it done, and it's getting really out of control. So I've been sat there having my haircut, and I'm just sort of, I was transported. I just get transported away, and I was transported away to a place called Lou's Blues Bar and Grill, which is out on the Florida coast at a place called Satellite Beach. It is south of Cape Canaveral, the old space station up there where they send up the space exploration missiles and stuff up there. And anyway, the reason I was catapulted back there is the fact that I remember just looking out to the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean, thinking, wow, it's just the maddest thing. You're just like, you feel like you're a million miles from home, and the only thing that's in between you and your kind of like your coast, our coast down in Cornwall, we're only in Devon, so it's pretty local, is the massive Atlantic Ocean. And yeah, I just never sort of like ever forgot that feeling of like all that water in between. There's no land, it's just like woof. And anyway, that is what I've been, believe it or not, before I had my haircut, I was doing the intro to this video, which is the 180 degree south. And what is that all about? What is that all about, Jof? That is what we're kind of... So I've got another trip coming together, and I have literally been inspired by one of our subscribers. He's been inspired by us about our travels, and he literally was telling me the fact that he is leaving the UK for the first ever time and going to France. They are doing a Portsmouth to Saint Malo, and he was literally telling me the fact that he's booked on to a caravan club site out in France just to be like 100% sure of where they're going to be going, and then they're going to be I think I mentioned this the other day on a video actually, and then he's just like off he goes on his kind of like adventure. And then the same when they come back, when they return, they will be like staying at the same place to give him that kind of like base and that peace of mind to know they can get back to the ferry and get transported back to the UK. And the more I was kind of like thinking about that kind of trip, I was kind of like, do you know what? It's a really like ultimate kind of trip. We've had like trips into France, and so memorable, so memorable. And previously I've been talking about my hippie summer kind of thing, and I didn't really have a place for this, and all of a sudden it started becoming a kind of, do you know what, France is quite like hippie, man. As regard, I'm not saying it's that kind of like blurry long summer days, hazy, lazy summer days. That's the kind of sort of scenario I'm kind of like looking for. And I think everybody visualizes that, maybe from like a childhood kind of like memory kind of perspective. Maybe everybody loves them. I remember that moment. I remember that time, and that is the best ever feeling you can get from going on a holiday. I think it's just that kind of like real carefree moments in life that you just like, oh my God, this is just so good. You watch the sunsets in the morning, you watch the sun, you watch the sunsets at night and watch the sun rises in the morning, Jof. Yeah, that's how confused I am. But basically, that is what I'm like talking about, just sitting somewhere watching the sun go down, and that is epic times. Anyway, so I'm sort of drifting off into this crazy world of mine, the Mo Hotel Adventure Jof.s world, and anyway, so this whole thing started to play on my mind a little bit. I was kind of like, do you know what? We live in Devon. Just down the road is the Brittany Ferry terminal. It transports you across to this place, and it is right on our doorstep. We've literally got a 25-minute drive. We've done it before. We did the High Seas Adventure when we went off down to Spain, and we used Brittany ferries. It was so convenient, and that's what got me thinking again. Easy, not millions of miles. I actually was talking to a friend of mine on the telephone this afternoon, and we were talking about this. So Barry, you probably been watching this video, and so I think you were the first one I actually told about this. Prior to this video, mate, you got the insider updates. Not that it's like huge news, do you know what I mean? It's just like literally what we get up to, and it's the way it goes. But anyway, we were talking about this and having some good old chat, having a chin with Barry, and he was telling me about where he was doing his New Haven to Dieppe, and we were having a discussion about that. Anyway, back to my trip. So it prompted me to have a route around, get the old Michelin map out again, an old one. Look at this baby. And in fact, I took a picture of, so on that intro of the video, there is a picture of this section of land. And this section of land we're talking about up at Lannion, up in like northern Brittany, is basically, it is 180 degrees south from our South Devon coast, okay? And distance-wise, it's literally from probably the lowest point down around Start Point in South Devon. We are probably looking at about like 95 miles. So, again, this point of land in England, 95 miles across the English Channel, section of water, and then you end up in northern Brittany. And the more I was kind of like thinking about this and looking at the map and kind of drawing this line down, I'm like, that's kind of, do you know what? I think I've got a, you know, this is going to be the 180 degree south hippie summer combined adventure, and it all kind of just fell into place, and I'm pretty smiley about the fact, and I had to sort of like start doing a bit of research on some of my schedule. So it's all down the schedule. Anyway, the long and short of it is, today I literally got on the Brittany Ferries website and had a little shufty around, and it's on. We are going Plymouth to Roscoff, and we are doing a Roscoff returning to Plymouth, and basically we have got a little chunk of time, and we are going to do our best to infiltrate Brittany, and not only so epic lighthouses, the flares they call them in France, and I've got some again, earlier on, I was thinking about these lighthouses while I've my hair trimmed up. And I was thinking about the lighthouse on the end of Ile de Ré, and it's called the Flare de la Blalines. Anybody that's been out on that one, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You can go up the spiral staircase and look down, and all this kind of like mosaic-y style tiles, and it just like rested in my memory, real fond memories of being down there on a campsite with our motorcycles and drinking wine and just like having a great time. And then I was transported to another one, this Flare de Chasseron, which is on Ile de Ileron. Anybody been to that one? It's kind of a bit more of a blacky style lighthouse down there. But I'm just thinking to these like epic points on the land of these lighthouses, and maybe over the weekend, I'm hoping over the weekend to maybe get down to Start Point, because we've got an epic lighthouse down on, and that is the point that I'm talking about, is so I need to get down there and get at that point, and start focusing on this kind of, that's how I work around my motorhome trips. I know I'm a bit crazy, but a bit zany, but yeah, and then so you've got this kind of like epic coastline around Brittany, and you've got some of the most epic, nice sandy beaches down there on the southern side. And another time, I'll tell you what, another time, I'm sort of trying to get this map together as well. These maps, you start undoing them and then it just won't, there it is, back to a map, all folded nice and neatly. And this is in fact, I'm still researching this, so I shall be, yeah. But I remember being down at a place called Auray, Lower Brittany, and we were on our motorcycles and we were trying to find some accommodation, and we were struggling a little bit. It was in the height of summer. It was very, very touristic-y and very a beautiful place, don't get me wrong. It was a very, very stunning area, okay, Auray. And there was a tourist information office that I went into, and the lady in there, and she was about to close it. It was evening, so it was just into the evening, and I was kind of like sorry to disturb you. She was just packing up, and she said, "How can I help you? Bonjour, how can I help you? Can I help you?" She spoke English. She was multilingual, and basically we explained the situation. I explained the situation, and she says, "Leave it with me for 2 minutes." And she was on the telephone, and "Hello, this is the tourist information at Auray, and I have some like motorcyclists looking for accommodate." And she scooped us a hotel at a place called Lorient, just not far up the road. And I was like blown away with how many people, well, yeah, admittedly tourist information off, but she was more helpful than you can ever kind of imagine. I've never forgotten it. And that another great thing about like people trying to help you in situations, and she really, really helped us. And if we'd have tried to explain on the telephone, that was before Google Translate, and there wasn't a hope. There was no hope. So basically she sorted all this out. She's give us the address, and here you go here, and they will be expecting you, and it was this, and I remember sort of like, can you get yourself a glass of wine over the weekend? And she was very like, "No, you don't need to do that." And I was kind of like, look, everybody gets people a glass of wine for helping them out, and I think she accepted in the end with a bit of persuasion. But that is the kind of people that I'm talking about, like friendly people. So I'm excited about this trip. I'm super stoked about it. We are looking for I'm looking for lazy, hazy summer days, some good sunsets, some good sunrises, epic coastline, lighthouses, beaches, stunning beaches, sandy beaches. I'm not into the winkles and the periwinkles, and I'm not a massive seafood, but I know that some of the oyster area around there is outrageous. Oysters, seafood, stuff like that. Outrageous. It's not kind of like my thing. Not that I've ever been too, you know, probably Caroline says you need to try this stuff more, but you get kind of set in your ways a little bit, and I'm just one of them people, you know. So that's that. So hope you enjoyed this video. So maybe look, I'm going to chop this video off here, and then we'll maybe like go into maybe the cost of the ferry, stuff like that, what the times of going, stuff like that. That'll be like another day. So I'm going to leave this video there because I've rabbited on far too long once again. Hope you make a comment and tell me about any places that you've been to in the Brittany area that you can recommend to me that we would love to go and have a look. That you know, that kind of stuff that we like. Any recommendations of good hostilleries? There's some good breweries in Brittany. They have cider. They have. I might even get a new French passion book. You know, I'm that enthusiastic. Anybody using a 2025 France passion? I did have a look on Vicarious Media, the guys up at Folkestone earlier on their website, and they've actually got them on offer at the moment. There's like a bit that they've got a bit of a sale, so normally 30 quid down to just maybe 24.95, something like that. Had a look earlier on Vicarious Media. I'm gonna leave this video there, guys. Drop us a comment, give us a thumbs up. You know the score of Mo Hotel Adventures, pioneering at its very, very best to bring you a very hippie summer. Bye for now.